My name is Amanda Voppel, and I am interviewing a middle-aged adult for my online human growth and development class. What is your age and name?
My name is Angie Voppel, and I am 48 years old.
Okay. Do you know what stage of life you are in?
Middle.
Middle-aged adult. What are your visible signs of aging that you have noticed that are happening at this time in your life?
Mostly just physical things like wrinkles and age spots, and that's really all I've noticed.
So you haven't noticed any height or weight or strength decrease?
Maybe a little bit of strength.
Where have you noticed these strength decreases? Like what part of your body?
Mostly my arms.
Okay. Mostly in this age period, you will start to notice them in your back and leg muscles as well. Have you noticed any of that with lifting things?
Not too badly. Maybe my back a little bit.
Okay. Does your family have any hereditary heart problems, cancer, hypertension, or diabetes?
Nope, we don't have any cancer or lung disease or any of that is significant that has ever been related to a doctor.
Okay. Who is the oldest person to live in your family?
My grandmother was 98 years old.
And did she have any of these conditions at any point in time?
No, I think as she was older, she was on maybe I think it was cholesterol medication.
Okay. Since entering this stage of life, have you noticed any cognitive or intellectual decline in how you make decisions or remember things?
I think I always find that, your memory is a little bit less, partially because we have so much more going on. So there's always, you always try tricks to remember where things are and what you're doing.
So you haven't noticed any reaction time changes or anything like that?
Maybe a little bit slower, but not anything significant yet.
Yeah. They say that it's not significant yet. If you look at a statistic on middle-aged drivers, if you didn't know, they have fewer accidents than younger and older aged people. How have your relationships changed with others since entering this stage of your life? That could be spouses, significant other, parents, children, coworkers, neighbors, anything like that.
Probably closer to my children. I think friendships aren't as significant right now. I have, less friends because the ones that are important to me are the ones I spend more time with.
Okay. Do you feel, as you have had kids leave the house, that you have signs of empty nest syndrome? That's unhappiness, loneliness, depression after a children leaves home?
Yes, it was terrible when my kids left the first time.
What have you done to cope with this?
We got a foreign exchange student and are getting another foreign exchange student. Plus, I spent more time with the kids that were here.
Did you feel like the foreign exchange student helped with this?
Absolutely.
Okay. How about your marriage satisfaction? Do you feel like it was high before you had children and then it decreased as your children were growing up, and then as they start to leave the house, it started to increase?
I haven't really noticed that much of a change in our marriage. It's always been relatively stable and strong. It hasn't, we've just dealt with situations as they've come along, and it hasn't really changed the way our relationship is.
Okay. I wanted to show you this graph in our book of marital satisfaction, and you can see a normal marriage these days. That's what they show you, that it starts out high and then through life it decreases and levels out, and then when your children leave it goes up as you're going through retirement and all of that kind of stuff. Do you feel like your husband will feel like that scale as the kids leave and retirement and all of that kind of stuff comes along?
I think more the issue with him is his work. It's, because he goes to work every day, and then when retirement comes, he won't have to go to work. So, of course, hopefully he'll be happier that he doesn't have to get up and go to the office every day. But I think otherwise, I feel very fortunate that our relationship has been, I think, more stable than what that graph shows.
Okay. What is your career at this current time?
this current time, I stay home and take care of my children.
Okay, did you know that 32% of U.S. moms actually stay at home and 60% would prefer to stay at home? What are the reasons you chose to stay at home?
In the beginning, it was mostly because of daycare costs. They were so high, and my paycheck barely covered daycare costs, so it didn't make sense to put my whole paycheck into daycare and not be home with the kids.
Do you know any of the benefits of staying at home, specifically on children?
I think there are lots of benefits. I mean, I think there's more structure on the kids. I think we don't thrust them into being so independent right away. They learn, to be dependent on their parents and grow into independence rather than just being forced into it.
Yes, I did some research actually on the benefits, and some important ones I saw were obviously you save on daycare, but they say that kids are smarter because they get one-on-one time with their parent, and their parent develops them in the way that they are meant to be developed. It's more of a personal basis. It actually says kids are less obese when they don't go to daycare. They're also better behaved, like you said, because they develop by getting more one-on-one attention. And a funny one I saw was they're actually more likely to stay alive and have less life-threatening injuries and sicknesses like overnight hospital stays, asthma attacks, and all that kind of stuff, because as a parent, you know the symptoms of those a little bit better than the people around them, and you're paying attention more. Are you comfortable and content with your career?
Oh, yeah, I think I did a great job raising my kids. It was very fulfilling and rewarding. But I think, as a person, you always wonder, I had a career before I started, so what would I have done? But I don't really regret it. It's just you wonder maybe what you would have done.
Do you want to advance or change your career in the future, or have you already tried to and decided not to do that?
I went back to work for a little while, and wasn't really something I could advance in. It was just more for time for me to feel like I was doing something important. I did that for about 3 years, and I'm content with that. I don't think I have to go back to work. I like my life as it is.
Last, or two more questions. What lifestyle choices have had a strong impact on your health status? Exercise, diet, habits, any of those?
I don't smoke. I drink, occasionally, but not heavily. I try to exercise. I try to drink enough water every day.
How often do you exercise?
Probably 3 to 5 times a week.
Okay. Do you know any of the advantages of exercise in middle adulthood?
Other than keeping your heart going and helping strengthen muscle tone that you might be losing.
Yeah, a very important one is actually all the psychological benefits. So exercising enhances your mood because of the endorphins released when you exercise, and it's actually shown to reduce stress. Do you feel like exercising reduces your stress the more you exercise?
Most days.
Okay, if you could change any of your choices from the past, what lifestyle choices would you change?
Probably drink more water than I have drank. Maybe a little bit better eating habits. We don't eat that badly, but I probably could definitely eat better. But other than that, I think most of the choices I've made have been fairly healthy.
Do you predict you will have, or have you felt like you have experienced a midlife crisis yet at this point in your life?
I don't know if as much a midlife crisis is just when I quit working at first. I felt like I wasn't doing anything worthwhile. So if that's a midlife crisis, then maybe that, but that was more right after I quit working. Some days I feel a little bit anxious about what's going on in life, but other than that.
Yeah, and in our book, actually, it talks about midlife crisis, and people normally experience it from age 35 to 43, which it's defined as a period of urgency and people wanting their life goals attained earlier than it's possible. So normally by 43 to 53, that's when people start accepting their life and not feeling that anxious or that anxiety that you were talking about after you left work. Thank you for participating in this interview. Is there any other questions you have?
Nope.
Okay.